All right, guys. I'm here in Grand Bahama. I'm in a AeroSphere Piper Arrow. I'm gonna do a quick live stream here. I want to show you where I'm gonna be going. Let's check it out. So I'm gonna be going to the Nassau. We got about 112 nautical miles to what is it? Linden. It's Linden Piddling International Airport at Nassau. Going to Paradise Island off of Nassau there. So anyway, that's where we're going to be going, and we get back into GPS. There's a new plane I just got from AeroSphere. They were kind enough to give me a copy of it. It looks really nice. Single engine, but I believe it's a turbo, so I can get it up to about 140 miles an hour. So let's. We do have prop control as well as a mixture control. So let's get out to the runway here. And one thing I like about these AeroSphere planes is that they're not resource hogs when it comes to FPS. Right, how do I get to the friggin' runway here? Just like go over this. Good question, eh? Yeah, so I mean, you can look here. I'm getting 46, 47 frames per second. Although I am on an island, so it's not going to be too taxing because there's a lot of water around me. But you know, I do find that compared to the Carinata, which are really nice planes, these planes tend to be pretty frugal on GPS resources, or FPS resources, I should say. Let's go over here, get on the runway. We'll pick up our coordinates, fly GPS to Nassau. All right, here we go. I don't know why I'm not showing my, just make sure my flight plan is working. Go to there, right? That's where I want to go. Yeah, 113 miles, so we should be good to go. Appreciate you guys checking out this quick Happy Mother's Day to any of you moms out there. Appreciate you checking out this quick stream. Show off this new plane I got. You can get it on xplane.org. I think it's around $23, $24, something like that. Pretty reasonable. And nice flight characteristics. Does have landing gear, so I just put those up. Where the hell is my GPS? Oh, I know what I gotta do. Sorry, let's hit the CDI to GPS. All right, and then we go to nav, and this plane should start flying towards Nassau. I don't see the GPS on there though. I don't see my magenta line, which is weird. Turn this down. Oh, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why I'm very. All right, see, it took it off. Let's get that back on. I'm not sure why I don't see a. It's weird. Should be heading the right way. Let me just see here. Be heading southeast. So where am I heading? I'm definitely not heading the right way. Okay, so we got a problem here. Let's let me do this. Let me go to the GPS flight, and I'm gonna clear this out. I'm going to cursor, it. In. Here. Okay, so that's where I should be going, right? Why doesn't it show up on the GPS? It's really odd. Take this off here. This off. I should be heading southeast. Should be heading southeast. But I've got nothing on the GPS. All right, here's what we're going to do. Let's do this. Let's go flight plan. Let me get this on a... I know what we're going to do. We're going to try this all over. Go back to flight configuration, change location, stay there, start new flight. Yes, start new flight. Maybe I'm just not entering it properly in the... And now I went black. All right, gotta restart X plane. We'll get it right. We'll get it right. All right, new flight, Grand Bahama. Yep, beautiful. All right, guys, we're just going to set up this flight here. So we're going to be going from... Let's get this scenery set up. And then I'll enter the flight plan so we can go to Nassau from Grand Bahama. Here we go. Let's set this up. Flight plan. Let's do cursor. Clear. This is going to be, yep. Next one, I must go down one. Clear. Enter. Right. Now here we enter. Damn it. There we go. M. Why is this so hard to use? N. Nassau, enter, yes. Accept, yes. All right, there we go. Now we should be good to go. Hopefully. There's our GPS. All right. Okay. Sometimes the 530 is a little bit in particular. So it's 113 nautical mile trip. And get myself centered here in VR. Looking good. What's up, guys? Thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, I'm having a few technical difficulties, but good to go now. Flying this AeroSphere Piper Arrow, single engine. I believe it's a turbo. going to fly it to Nassau in the Bahamas. Using Fly Inside XP to fly in VR. I've got an Oculus Rift headset. And we're good to go here. We're going to get to our runway here. Take off and find our route. Why isn't that up on the... Oh, there it is. There's my line. Okay, here we go. Plane kicks a little to the left like you would expect on a single engine. I love those little wires coming out of the dash going up into the compass. Kind of cool. Okay, 70. There we go. Rotate. Gear up. Alright. Get ourselves up and at 'em. Check our frame rates. We're getting 44 frames. Nice. Checking out my new 1080 Ti. Alright, now we've captured, we can go to autopilot on nav. And put this on CDR and GPS. And this plane will turn and pick up those coordinates. For our shot down to Nassau. Now the way we're coming in, we should be coming right in, lined up perfectly for the runway from what I saw on the chart. So we'll get this up to about 2,000 feet. This plane does have prop control too, which is nice. That's about 2,500. I should tap this thing out at about 140 knots. Let's get this up here a little bit more. Oh, I see what happens as soon as I hit the trim. Autopilot is off. I want that. Get our altitude up to 2,000. Do some open water flying. Beautiful down there. Grand Bahama. Never been to Bahamas. I think 2,000's a respectable altitude. Beautiful. Okay, should be flying the nav and flying the altitude. Check out what you guys have to say. Planes have music systems. This plane doesn't have a music system. Not that I know of. So the experience with VR is really incredible. It's the best way I can explain it is that when you fly in a simulator with 2D, you really have no perception of height. When you're in VR, you have a perception of height. When I look down there, it feels like those pedals and that the flap controls and everything down there is below my head. So there's definitely a feeling of height and of obviously third dimension. All the knobs and gauges and everything on the instrument panel all have depth of field, and they look like I could reach out and actually touch them, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, no, you could. I mean, there's no music tracks in X-Plane 11, but you could obviously mix in whatever music you wanted. I don't like to put music on the streams because of copyright issues, and generally, if I did that, then all the audio would be muted, so you wouldn't be able to. If you're going to watch this afterwards, you wouldn't be able to watch it. So, you've got to be careful about copyrights. Yeah, so this is the Arrow. No, by the way, guys, I can't see chat when my head's in the Oculus, so I'll look at chat every once in a while here. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about this plane I'm flying. AeroSphere designed this plane. It's a Piper Arrow, single engine. I believe it's a turbo. You can see here. I'm going to bring back the prop a little bit. Bring us back to about 2,500 RPM and reduce the manifold. So the prop and the throttle kind of work hand in hand to control the engine. Very realistic. All the startup and stuff is realistic, and the gauges, like I said, is all realistic. You could start from, cold start if you'd like, but yeah, it's a very, very nicely modeled plane. As you can see, now I'm over open water. I'm getting 55 frames per second in X-Plane 11. The 94 number is in the headset. You want above 90. But as I turn my head here, it's like, it's basically as if I was in a real plane, Look right out to the left wing there. You can see the islands out there, and it's awesome. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean. On real planes? Do planes have music systems? I mean, I'm sure. I don't believe this plane, if you bought it in real life, would have a music system. I mean, you could probably put one in if you wanted to. But yeah, I'm not sure about that. I think most of these planes don't have that type of capability. Even like the Cirrus SR-22, which is like a newer general aviation aircraft, single engine. That one, I don't believe, has a music system. You kind of you'd have to bring your own music in. Because generally in a plane, you're going to get a lot of outside engine noise, so I'm not sure what the musical experience would be like. So let me show you one thing. So I've got Oculus Touch controllers, okay? And as you can see, there's my Oculus Touch hand. I'm in the cabin. You can see my touch controller right there, hopefully. Okay, and I can actually use this to control it. I can't control the yoke, but I can use this to change the controls of the bug, let's say, if I wanted to. Let's see if I can do that. Doesn't work on the bug there, but I can flip switches, and I could change the if I want to get rid of this yoke, I just go like this. I think I'll go like this. Okay, and then I can change the brightness. Can I do that? Yeah, there you go. So you do have some control over some of the components in the AeroSphere planes with Oculus Touch. Not a whole lot. Now this is a fly inside capability. So fly inside is the piece of software that I'm using that allows you to fly in VR in X-Plane 11. So fly inside has Oculus Touch control. So I can grab these sun visors and move them with the Oculus Touch. Okay, I think I can control this cabin light if I want to, but it's not dark, so that's not going to make much of a difference. I know I can control the autopilot, and I can press buttons on the GPS and stuff. So and also the throttle, and I think I can grab the flaps too if I wanted to. You do have some control. Can't grab the mic, but I could open this window. So just open the window. Okay, so I want to keep that closed though. Anyway, so yeah, so that's kind of cool. Now I could see as this starts to, as there more and more planes have Oculus Touch capability. I mean, basically fly inside would have to build that in. I know on the Cessna C-172 you have a lot of capability with the touch, and you can actually fly that plane by holding the yoke with the Oculus Touch, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, so that's having your hands in the experience is kind of cool. So I mean, the Oculus Touch does give feedback. When you touch something, you feel like a little shimmer in the Oculus Touch. So yeah, it does give you that capability. But I tell you, I started flying in VR on FSX when I first got my Rift, because I had FSX and I tried flying inside, and I was like, wow, this is really awesome. And then I decided to move up to X-Plane 11. It's a better flight simulator, I believe, than FSX. And the imagery in X-Plane 11 in VR is just incredible. I mean, it is very, very lifelike, including the ground textures and stuff like that. Just very, very lifelike. So if you guys are into flight simulation, and especially in VR, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I do a number of videos a week on X-Plane 11. I've got a series planned. I'm actually going to be doing a cross-country trip from Myrtle Beach to San Diego. It's going to be 4 different legs. I've already done the first leg. That video will come up this week. And I'm going to speed it up. So normally those would be about 2.5-hour flights. So it's going to be condensed to about a half hour. But it'll be like, I'll have to talk about some stuff during those flights, and I might do some viewer comments, answer some comments and stuff like that, so it should be kind of fun. But I've been doing a lot of experimenting with my new graphics card. I've got an EVGA 1080 Ti superclocked card that I've been experimenting with, trying to tweak it to get the best settings for X-Plane 11, among other games. So, you know, I talk a bit about that in the leg 1 of the cross country, about my trials and tribulations of getting X-Plane 11 configured to take full advantage of the 1080 Ti. But in any event, what was the VR headset called again? Oh, this is I'm using an Oculus Rift CV1, consumer version 1. And touch controllers. That's the one that I use. I've had it for about 6 months. I got to tell you, it's awesome. Really cool for flight simulation, but also some other great games that are really, you know, a lot of fun to play in VR. Especially some of the social VR sites like Rec Room, which is a place where you can get together with people and like play games or just have a meeting or talk and stuff. It's pretty cool. You know, you feel like you're there, which is the whole promise of VR, you know. So to talk a little bit about X-Plane 11 and the 1080 Ti, I have gotten a lot of questions about that, and I did a video a couple weeks ago about how I had my settings optimized for my previous graphics card, which was a 1070 superclocked EVGA 1070, and I was getting pretty good frame rates out of that. And then I was hoping that, you know, I was planning on upgrading to a 1080 Ti anyway for other games as well as X-Plane, but I was hoping that I would see some benefits from that upgrade. And once I got the card, I installed it, made some tweaks, you know, tried to. You know, one of the big things I wanted to do was in Fly Inside, you have the ability to fly at, to visualize at 2880 by 1620 or 38 something. It's like almost 4K, okay? And I was hoping, because that would actually improve the resolution in the headset a little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit, so that you could read smaller lettering a lot clearer. And I was hoping that the 1080 Ti would allow me to use that, support that, and be able to run at reasonable frame rates in X-Plane 11. Because the whole idea is you want to be at frame rates of about 30 frames per second or above in X-Plane 11, so that you get the smoothness of movement. You know, if you go below 20, it's pretty bad, but you want to be around 30. So I was hoping that going to a 1080 Ti, that would really help improve. But you know, I got to tell you, even though that card is probably about 30 to 40% faster than the card I had before. I really haven't seen that type of improvement in X-Plane 11. In fact, the frame rates are just about the same, maybe a little bit better, but it doesn't, I haven't come to a situation in X-Plane 11 where I was using like 100% or 90% or 80% of the GPU. It's like, it's always, I'm running at about 27 or 28 frames per second, and I'm only using about 50% of the GPU. So, oh, did I just go black there? Well, that's an X-Plane 11 problem. Sometimes you go black. All right, I'm gonna have to restart. God damn it. See, that X-Plane 11 got back at me because didn't like that I was bad-mouthing it. All right, I'm not gonna fly. I'm gonna pick a little different place to go here. Yeah, I had it on automatic pilot. Let me just look at my hold on here. Let's go from hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna figure out a new flight plan here. Give me 1 second. Damn it, X-Plane. I tell you what, let's just go to MYNN and fly around there. Let's just do that. Makes it a little easier. New flight, MYNN. We'll go to Nassau. No, I'm not using VATSIM. I'm just trying to get X-Plane to work. We'll fly around the Nassau and the Grand Bahamas and stuff and see what that looks like. Let's just do that. Sorry, guys. Does X-Plane 11 replace FSX? Well, it doesn't really replace it. I mean, it's an alternative. All right, now we're in Nassau. So we're just going to we'll taxi out and take off, and we'll just fly around the island a little bit. Where are we going here? Yeah, it's a different flight sim. One nice thing about VR is you can see how I'm just like turning my head. I mean, you can't see my head, but I'm actually, to look around, I just turn my head. I don't have to use a mouse or anything like that. It's just easy to do. So let me get on the runway here. Just take off right here. All right, here we go. Get us up, lined up. Beautiful. All right, guys. So now we're in Nassau. So unfortunately, I had a little blackout there with X-Plane 11, so it kind of cut things short. We'll check out the island here a little bit. Right, get to about 70 knots, 75, and rotate. Boom, beautiful. Gear up. And we are flying in the Piper Arrow from AeroSphere. You can check it out on xplane.org. The folks at AeroSphere were kind enough to give me a copy of this, so it's kind of cool. I actually have all of the AeroSphere planes now. They just sent me their Warrior, which is a new one I'm going to be checking out. But I like their planes. They're they're very frugal on FPS. Let's see, I'm getting 48.7 frames per second. That's amazing for X-Plane 11. Now I'm in an island, okay, with very little. Let's get myself centered here. Very little structure, okay, but still pretty happy with that. Nassau. Boy, there's not many buildings on this one. It's kind of boring. But I do love the smoothness. Let's fly out here. You might get an Oculus Rift with your tax return. Yeah, I tell you, well, make sure you have a strong enough computer for it. I mean, you need to make sure your graphics card will support it. They say that the entry level's a 1050. I would say the entry level's really a 1060 for VR. I'd say for X-Plane 11, you probably want to have a 1070. I mean, you can. Unless you're, it depends if you're willing to put up with slower frame rates. It really depends on what you're willing to put up with. Yeah, I mean, I want, I wanted to have the fastest graphics card I could, so I decided to upgrade to a 1080 Ti, and luckily I was able to sell my 1070 for decent amount of money, so it didn't cost me too much to upgrade, and I've only had it for about 5 months. But if you're going to play a graphically intense game like simulator like X-Plane 11, I really do recommend getting like a 1070 or better. You have a Titan Black. I'm not sure the specs of the Titan Black. I would go to NVIDIA's site. I'm sure they have a comparison so you could see. I don't believe the Titan Black is Pascal, which is the newer chipset that NVIDIA is for their 10 series. I went with the EVGA because I really like their cooling. I think they do a great job with their cooling, so that's why I kind of went with them. You can see, I'm getting like 45 frames per second. Again, there's not much on this island, and there's a lot of water around it, but obviously, because it's an island, obviously. But still, it's pretty impressive frame rates, and it makes for a great flying experience. I mean, I really feel like I'm in a plane, which is what you want, Although I think I need to be a little closer to the dash. There you go. That's better. All right, cool. Lower this down a little bit. I don't want to run about 2,500 RPM. Still trying to get the hang of the controls of this new plane. All right. Yeah, for a single engine, this thing does about 100 and cruising is about 140 knots, which is pretty damn good for a single engine. Kind of a boring island, isn't it? Yeah, I get that blackout every once in a while. That explains. It sucks. I've never flown down here before, just checking everything out. Oh, the tape on the yoke, yeah. So that was, I had a brainstorm. I said, I can't stand the plastic feel of this yoke. It's just like so fake. So, my wife plays tennis, and I started thinking, what can I put on there? I said, oh, maybe I could put grip tape on there, like from tennis racket. So, I went on Amazon, and I found this company, Gamma. See it right there? It's Gamma. Hopefully you can see that. And it's 3 of these rolls for like, I don't know, I think it was like $8. And I put it on there, and I gotta tell you, it gives you the feel like a little, like you could put a little pressure on it. It's a little bit of a soft feel. It's nice. It's nice. So yeah, look on Amazon. Look for a company. It's called Gamma, and they had the gray color, which was kind of matched it, which was good. So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool, and it worked out pretty well. Just a little hack. All right, we're going to come in here from the ocean side. And now I'm going to think of a place to go fly. Maybe we'll go to Princess Juliana. That's a nice place to fly. Near St. Maarten. That's always a fun takeoff and landing. It's really odd. Sometimes with X-Plane, I get like amazing frame rates, and sometimes I get like totally shit frame rates. And it could be on the same exact plane, same exact airport. Like, I was using the stock Cessna 172, and I think I was at L.A. Was it L.A.? Maybe it was Atlanta. Can't remember which. But I loaded up the system. I started it up. I said, oh, great. I'm getting like 40 frames per second. I said, oh, let me go change something. So I stopped. I changed to a different configuration or something. I moved the plane to a hold short instead of being on the runway. Went back into it, and it was down to 25 frames per second. I just don't understand that. What's the difference? It's like X-Plane 11 doesn't take advantage or release resources or something. We're going to slow up here. Gear down. Gotta remember the gear on this thing. Not many single engines have the gear. So 3 lights on the gear. We're at 1500, so we're going to get down here. But we'll be fine. We got a long runway to work with there. Can't look at chat while I'm landing, guys. just totally smooth. I mean, it's 44 frames per second. No jaggeding, no stuttering, just really smooth. Get the flaps going. I know I'm gonna have to make a quick turn here. It's okay. This is something you can do in VR because you have a better spatial awareness. Do have a long runway, so I'm gonna kind of come in here, turn it, line up, flare it, land it. Would be tough to do this in 2D. All right, here we go. Flaps all the way down. Flare it. Throttle up, down. Keep nose up. Nice, easy down. Stay down, nice and easy. Take it. Boom, beautiful. All right. Flaps up. Flaps up. To a stop. Alrighty, beautiful. All right, let's go to Princess Juliana. I love that airport. That's the one in St. Martin where you take off and land the beach. So let me go to flight config, change location. Let's go to Princess Juliana International. Customize where we're gonna hold short. Let's hold short right here. No, let's hold short here. Confirm. Start new. Yeah, boom. Beautiful. So while we're waiting for that, using SSD. Yes, my system is all SSD. But an X-Plane, oh, well, that was quick. An X-Plane 11, actually, let me change this. Let's see what kind of frame rates I'm getting. 45. I want to change this. Look at the configs here. Okay, world objects high, that's what I want. Okay. There's my graphics setting in case you guys want to see. That's how I have things set up graphically. Yeah, so I am using SSDs, but really doesn't let me change my map. Make sure my map is up. The SSDs really only come into play when you're loading up. Other than that, where the hell am I here? Uh-oh, put me on a heliport. Okay, that's not where I wanted to be. So, they only really come into play when you're loading, because I think the way I'm going over the grass here, you can see me bumping over the grass. The way the SSD, the way X-Plane works is, let's see here. Where am I? Mountains at. Let's go. Let's taxi this way. It only really SSDs come into play when you're landing, when you're loading. The way X-Plane 11 works is it loads everything into memory and it works off of that. So you really don't get any advantage other than faster load times. If I was using a hard drive, it probably would take, maybe 50-60% longer than it does with SSD. In fact, what I'm going to do here is, let's get it down to the end here. One of my favorite airports. I don't know if you've ever been to St. Martin. But when you land, you actually land over a beach where people are actually at the beach. It's pretty wild. Go on YouTube. There's actually videos of jets taking off and like blowing people away. with the jet wash. We should be okay here. Spin around. That should be it. Well, we should be okay. Let's go. Gotta deal with that mountain. All right. 70 knots, 75, rotate. Boom. Beautiful. You're up. Get a little thump. So we know our gear is up. Got good airspeed. Climbing up. Bank left, the bank right here. Beautiful sailboats in the harbor there, St. Maarten. That's St. Bart's right over there. All right, beautiful. Trim it out. Right. Yeah, so guys have any other questions about VR flying, let me know. Happy to answer any questions you might have. Just going to fly out here a little bit, do a pattern, make a right turn, and come in and land. And maybe what we'll do is we'll fly to St. Bart's real quick over there. In fact, why don't we just do that now? Let's get our heading here. All right. Autopilot. Get to about 2,000, and then we'll put it on. Hold the altitude. Oh, we already did, so we're going to go to 1933. Beautiful. All right, we're on autopilot. Cool. One of the wonders of flying. All right, Brian, how's X-Plane compare to FSX theme with fly inside resolution-wise? Okay, so I would say that it's a really, let me try to explain it this way. FSX compared to X-Plane, X-Plane's much more realistic, where the textures and the design look like real life, where in FSX it's more like drawings. I don't want to say cartoonish because it's not cartoonish, but it's more like a drawing than it is photorealistic. X-Plane 11 is more photorealistic, so you have to have that separation between the two. Now, I think because X-Plane 11 is photorealistic, it uses more resources to get higher frame rates at higher resolutions, okay? At resolution. The resolution is pretty amazing. Like right now I'm looking at, I have Fly Inside configured at 28.8, which is the second to highest resolution. And as I sit here, I can read everything on the instrument panel, except maybe the real small, tiny lettering, okay? Now, if I went up to 3880 on Fly Inside, I'd be able to read everything, including the small, tiny. Now, but that is going to use a lot more. There's like a trade-off on frame rate. It's really odd the way Fly Inside and X-Plane 11 kind of work together, but there is like a trade-off on frame rate. So now FSX at Fly Inside absolutely maxed out with flying side at 38.8, which is basically 4K, I get incredible frame rates. Even in like highly dense areas like New York, you get like 40, 50 frames per second. And I think that's because it's more of a drawing and drawed environment versus a photorealistic environment, right? That's kind of the best way I can explain it. I mean, I enjoy flying side with FSX. It's a lot of fun. What I don't like is that the stock planes in FSX, their instrument panels are all pretty much like 2D, which kind of sucks, because one of the cool things about it is like I'm looking at, you know, like this vertical speed indicator. I can see that the needle on the indicator is in front of the actual dial plate, so it's actually got depth like it would in real life. In FSX, most of the dials are flat, right? So you don't have that separation. So those kind of things, those like subtle little differences that add to the realism, you don't really have in FSX compared to X-Plane 11. Hope that explains it. But I mean, if you're using FSX, I would definitely recommend trying Fly Inside. I mean, you can get an evaluation copy for like 2 weeks or whatever. They have like you can fly like 15 minutes at a time. I forget how they do it, but Daniel Church you can download that Fly Inside for FSX for free to try it out and give it a try yourself. I'm very happy with it. I have a video up on YouTube of that, so you might want to check that out. But yeah, so that's kind of how I would compare the two. They're very different. I mean, especially like in navigation. You know, FSX compared to X-Plane 11. X-Plane 11, you feel like you're in real world, right? Especially when it comes to navigation and the way the GPSs work, and you know, you got things like VATSIM and Pilot's Edge, and I know you could do those on FSX too, but it just seems to me that it's more realistic. Hope that was helpful. So guys, if you're into VR flying with X-Plane 11 or FSX, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I put at least one video a week up on with Fly Inside and X-Plane 11. So, and I've got a cross-country series coming up. I'm going to be going from Myrtle Beach to San Diego. That should be kind of fun. It's going to be 4 legs. It'll be 4 separate videos. I'm going to condense it down to like a half hour, because I don't think anybody wants to watch a 6-hour video of me flying from Myrtle Beach to San Diego. And plus, I'm not sure I'll have the time to really do that. So, but I did record the first leg. It was a lot of fun, and it'll be probably up to, I think, Thursday. I'll be posting. So I try to post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at around 2 p.m. and I'll sneak a few in here and there as I do them. So yeah, subscribe to the channel if you like simulation stuff. Now I'm pretty sure this is St. Bart's. Must be, right? It's the closest island. I've actually been to St. Bart's. St. Bart's has a nude beach, as does St. Martin on the Dutch side. The French side has nude beaches. Dutch side does not, but St. Bart's does have nude beaches. So if you're into that kind of thing, St. Bart's is for you. Yeah, thanks, Brian. Oh, Aerofly. I have Aerofly too. Also, I should say, I love Aerofly. I think it's a great foundation for a flight simulator. It's wonderful in VR. It's designed for VR. With the 1080 Ti, it's pretty amazing, like really like crazy frame rates. But the problem is that, you know, you don't have animation on the ground. It's the navigation stuff is very weak in Aerofly. So if you're looking for real world, you're just not going to find that on Aerofly. But that said, it is a lot of fun here. Why am my fuel tanks not balanced? This doesn't have a boost? All right, we'll have to figure that out. Let's take it off autopilot here. Alright, let's check this island out here. I just want to go down here and see if that's the fuel tank. I think that's the fuel tank, yeah. Yeah, I set this button up so I could zoom in like that. Well, that's not St. Bart's, is it? Can't be St. Bart's that small. Oh yeah, there's an airport right over there. Let's try to attempt that, I guess. Let's just check this out, see what we got here. I mean, the plane's not flying unbalanced, even though I've got more fuel in the right tank. Yeah, so I like Aerofly. Aerofly is a cool flight sim. But again, you know, they don't have a lot of the world like X-Plane does. It's very limited as far as where you can fly. And the navigation, like the ILS doesn't work. And I mean, I don't use ILS much anyway. I mean, mostly GPS stuff, but still, I mean, you would expect that to work. This must be St. Bart's. St. Bart's is, have you heard that's Jimmy Buffett's song, Cheeseburger in Paradise? Well, there's this little bar cheeseburger joint in St. Bart's where he had the cheeseburger in paradise. All right, so should I try to land to that little strip right there? Let's see if I can do it. If I can, I can always abort. Gear down. Should be interesting. You can always abort. That's a short porch right there, boy. That is a short porch. I'm not sure I could take off from there. We'll see. Let's see. That's a short one, man. Not bad, eh? Pretty classy. Pretty classy. Now, question is, can I take off? We'll see. I'm probably gonna need some flaps here to get off the ground here. Look at that car driving on the side of the road up there. That's so weird. All right, so we're gonna give me as much runway as possible here. My first thing I want to do is I want to go switch my tanks. What I can do is I have this thing set up so I can go down here. Let me get my mouse, and I want to go to... Why doesn't it allow me... Hold on. Come on. Come on, man. I don't know why I can't do that. There you go. All right, so now, because I've got 10 on 10 gallons? 20 gallons? That's it? All right, well, that should be enough to get me there. I can always fuel in the middle of the air. Let's see if there any... Yeah, thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. Thanks for the nice, kind words. And that was a short porch. So let's shoot over to there and see those islands over there. I'll just continue to. You know what? While I'm sitting here, I'm going to change my thing. I'm just going to say island hop. Not really flying in the Grand Bahamas anymore. Island hopping. That's wow, 12 people watching. That's awesome. All right, let's see if we can get to. You know what? Let's just get some gas here right now. This is the one nice thing about X. Let's go to flight. Wait. Oop. I don't want to do failures. Crap. Dates. Yeah, let's get ourselves. That's plenty of fuel done. Apply changes. And we got plenty of fuel now. Yeah, good. Here we go. Brakes on, brakes off. 10-degree flaps. Got to get up to 70. Okay, here we go. Uh-oh. Gonna be close. All right. That was close. All right, let's get us up to 1500. Heading's good, so we can get the heading. Alright, that's good. Let's hold our altimeter right there. We should be good to go. Start gaining a little airspeed. Knock off a little bit of that. Beautiful. Yes, if you guys have any questions about VR flying, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. I've been doing it for, you know, a little bit of time. I've had been using VR for quite some time, actually. So pretty familiar with that. It's my second headset. I used to have a HDK2. That was my first headset, and I just decided to get rid of that and go with an Oculus because Oculus was had better tracking, more games, more, you know, more experiences, etc., etc. So, and so far I've been really happy with the Oculus. It's pretty amazing. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, guys. I'd appreciate it. And if you want to get notifications when my videos come out, just hit that little, after you subscribe, there's a little bell icon. You hit that bell and it'll ask you if you want notifications. You'll get an email when I put a video out. If you don't want that, that's cool. I know people don't. Some people just don't want the spam. They've got enough email. But if you're interested in that, just hit that little bell button and you'll get a notification. See how the test button works. That works. Cool. What else works here? My switches and gauges and stuff. You can put some air in the cabin if you want to over there. I want to open the door. I wonder what would happen if I open the door right now. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, so I set this button up on the yoke, so if I click it, it zooms me right into the dash, so I can get a real close-up view of any, especially the GPS. Because like from here you can read the numbers, but you go like that, you can really see it much better. I don't know the name of this island. I wish I could tell you. Let me see if I can figure it out from the chart. Hold on one sec. So I'm in St. Martin. I started in St. Let's see where I'm going here. Oh, let me look at the map. Antigua. Oh, Kitson Nevis. Okay. Yeah, St. Kitts. Okay. That makes sense. I tell you one benefit of having this new GPU is streaming. I mean, it's great for streaming. I'm doing 1080p, 60 frames per second, and it's using like 6% of my CPU. 6.4% of my CPU. And I've looked at some of the stream replays and it looks pretty damn good. There's an airport right there. St. Kitts. All right, so I think I'm going to swing it around this mountain here and call it a stream, guys. Because it's Mother's Day, and I got to go take care of my wife Mother's Day. She's a great mom of 3 great kids. So we're going to swing around this mountain, and we'll land over there at St. Kitts. Get myself situated here. We're at, what, 1,500. Like a dormant volcano there. That's kind of cool. You guys really probably can't see the depth that I can, but definitely a hole there. Getting a little close with that wing. I want to clip the wing. Yeah, the frame rates are great. 50 frames per second. That's awesome. Like I said, there's times with this new card that I'm like, this is amazing. And there's times that I'm like, why is it so bogged down? And I know it has everything to do with the design of X-Plane 11. I know it. I know that's the issue. I mean, I'm using the fastest graphics card, well, aside from a Titan X that you can get. And I think actually it's pretty close to the same speed as a Titan X, so. Let's get our gear down. Now, I like to fly these general aviation planes. I know a lot of the guys that stream fly the jets, the big airliners. I'm not proficient on flying those yet. I'm interested in learning how to do it, but I like, I like the smaller GA kind of planes. Twin engine Pipers, I've got a couple of those. The Cirrus SR22, I've got the Coronado SR22. That's a really nice plane. Like if I ever became a real pilot and I had an extra $600,000, that's the plane I would want. But yeah, we're coming in kind of steep here, but we'll be okay. And when you're flying, when you got the prop control, you can reduce the RPM of the prop to kind of help you land here. We're full flaps, not flops. Full flaps, coming in steep, but I'll flare it out. Got a little runway to work with here. Throttle it down, flare it out, stay in the middle. Get this way a little bit. There we go. That's good. Beautiful. All right, St. Kitts. All right, guys. Well, thanks for flying along with me. Gonna call it a stream right here. And again, hit the like button if you like the stream. Don't forget to subscribe to Bambino Games for more X-Plane 11 in VR. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching, guys.